So, after having been on a reality show or a reality docuseries once, I don't watch a lot of reality docuseries except for like sometimes I have like people I know who work on certain shows. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll watch your show, or especially things that are competitions of excellence, or you can learn some cooking skills. I might watch that kind of stuff, but for the most part, I just like stay away from it. Like, no, it's not real. You know, not very interested. But somebody I've been thinking about when it comes to reality and reality shows recently are the Kardashians. Because I had a really great afternoon with Robert Kardashian and a small, interesting bathroom break with Kendall, Kylie, Chloe, Chris, and Courtney. I know. They all went to the bathroom at the same time. I happened to be there. I also went to the bathroom. There was a whole bunch of bathroom stalls. No big deal. Nothing happened. But I did that thing where they all lined up to get towels, and I lined up too. Their mom was like, "Okay." I was like, "Sorry." I know. I felt bad because I was like, I don't even know the show, so I don't know. Maybe that's a terrible thing to do because you're like really hardcore or something. But I don't. You guys are so cute, and I kind of felt like mentioning to them then, like, "Oh, hey, I met your dad once, and he was so cool, and he loved the heck out of y'all." But it was kind of weird, like why, especially in a bathroom. And I was also there in a professional capacity at a meeting with the Duchess for other issues or like other stuff for her. And I try not to mix celebrities, especially my friend the Duchess of York, because she's so awesome, and I just feel like she's everybody. And I just always am like, what am I going to make sure I did right and didn't do incorrect? Hopefully, because there's been mistakes. I'm full of them, right? Who is that? But so I really always have been thinking, if I do run into Chloe or Courtney or Ken, that I would mention how awesome their parents are, and then also, I had a really good, pretty decent, respectable, encouraging time with Caitlyn Jenner as well, and it was like, wow, all three of you were, from my recollection, were some really amazing people. And I don't know that we know enough about those folks, and it'd be really cool to see some more work done and some more research and exposure, if you will, about the parents of these global superstars. Because just in my, I met Robert Kardashian just the one time, but I was already a pretty big celebrity follower when I ran into Robert Kardashian, and it was in the after the OJ trial. So a lot of black people responded to the OJ trial differently than white people. It's one of those things. It's kind of like the Chappelle Show, totally different laugh track. You know what I mean? And so the OJ trial for a lot of black folks was about like political corruption, police brutality, potentially police, mistakes. Like, can we really trust them about anything? People just really were not necessarily believing that OJ did it, just flat out. And so there was a lot of respect for Johnny Cochran, who had been a civil rights attorney who was part of a large team that defended, OJ. And there's been a lot more, depictions of that recently in the last 10 years that have not mirrored what I saw and remember then. So I've got my own investigation with that going on, but, I did some stand up with Kato Kalin and grilled him fairly extensively. But so I'm working on it. But it's one of those things where you think to yourself, God, if only the people whose parents love them like that, like like got to love everybody like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but like that's what I got off this guy Robert Kardashian, because he was driving Johnny Cochran, which in itself I felt was super remarkable. That he drove Johnny Cochran to these events and came into this church that my family was in, and spoke and was part of, kind of, stood up and was acknowledged by the church as being part of this. I mean, this is a big, like, everybody's in their best hats. We're clapping. I mean, like I said, I don't think anybody in the press or media knew that this was happening in black communities in LA after OJ's acquittal, but that's kind of what was happening. And I think it was also part of this really big moment after Rodney King, after the riots, after just so much anger at, policing and bad practicing and bad policies that Black folks have experienced too, right? So there's a lot of this ire rising in those moments and coming out and you know. But I thought it's kind of cool that you didn't come by yourself, because I think Johnny Cocker was already sick at that point. But that I was like, wow, like you're a really big time lawyer, Robert Kardashian. Like you're like fancy and stuff. And your kids are fancy. And they're all like gonna be somebody. And so I think I kind of impressed him because I was asking after his kids. I was like, oh, I think your daughter might be around my age. I'm 16, 15-year-old. And they're like, oh yeah, yeah. And, he pulls out photos. He's like, so this is Courtney. This is Chloe. Oh, and this, I love him. And this is Kim. Oh, Kim. Wow. And just every single one of those kids, like he had something unique and different to say about them. Like each one of them was special on their own in a way that he could see and articulate. And I was kind of mostly interested in talking to him as a lawyer, because at that point I was thinking about being a lawyer and I just want to talk about legal stuff. But I remember being really struck by like, wow, like I haven't met that many lawyers that had such, so I feel like it's one of those things that'd be really interesting for more people to explore the kind of family backgrounds of some of the people that you like and you see in the press and that you really like to see, and help make even further sense of the people that you love and appreciate. And I have so enjoyed their remembrances of their father, and thinking about how, because it was something I got to see, right? It's something I got to witness once. And seeing those type of things has been life-changing for me as a parent who didn't grow up with those, didn't have any of that. I had told somebody a while back about, I went to sleep over at somebody's house when I was a younger person as a kid, and their dad kissed me on the forehead, and I didn't understand. I was like, why would you do that? And they were like, oh, nobody's ever done that. And I was like, no, like feels like there's spit on me or something. Like I was super taken aback by any visible sign of affection, because it's just not how I came up. And so knowing that people did that with their families and were super loving and super affectionate, like I feel like that's something that you could be super proud about if you do participate in Kardashians. I don't really, but I bought a candle from Poosh, which is a really good lifestyle website, by the way. Courtney Kardashian has made this really fantastic lifestyle website with really great recipes, lots of interesting stuff. Some of it's, you can actually afford it if you're a person who doesn't make a lot of money. There's a lot of great tips, and it's all for free, which I really appreciate. Like you don't have to do a paywall to like get this recipe or find out more. The ads are not really in your face either. So I highly recommend that if you get a chance. And it's been nice to see the various Kardashian peoples making different things. And, I'm very hopeful that all of Robert Kardashian's children, including Robert Jr., will, be able to grow and become the people that I think, the fathers saw them to be. And that's not free of mistakes. That's not free of mistakes, right? But it's to say that it's, somebody said, you think of Kardashian's American treasure, Marilyn Monroe, she's the American treasure, and I'm like, I mean, y'all's really watching them. So, just as far as who's really, somebody who's really engaged with in America, this is true for you, and they are, somebody said, better for worse. I'm like, honestly, it feels like for better that you have a family that loves and adores each other, and celebrates with each other. I don't got that, not all the time. I really think that's a cool model, and I applaud them. And maybe someday we'll get invited to one of their events and be able to eat one of those cookies. Oh my God, that would be so awesome. I'd be like, yes, because their cookies look awesome. But yeah, I've been thinking about kind of those people who inspired me as far as parents, and I definitely would put Robert Kardashian inside of that circle for sure.